Good morning, my grade 7s. I wonder how you're doing. Good to get your work. Please make sure you send something to me every week, once a week. Doesn't matter which of the lessons you do. Go through sector week 1 to 20 according to what ingredients you have and whatever your family are doing. I sent you all a long email yesterday as well, that was Friday, with some other suggestions and thoughts and expectations of how you should be working from home too. So, picking up from where we left off, these hot cross buns are very slowly rising or proving. That's happening there. So what I said to you is we would then continue with the Chocolate Crackle Easter Nests, and the recipe for those is here. That's attached to today's lesson. I think it's the 7th of April on your sector. And this is what they look like. They are absolutely delicious. This is not something I would be making regularly at all. They're expensive and they're very sweet. High sugar and high calorie and all of that, but it's Easter, that's what we're here for. So this was from a Taste magazine cover, and the chocolate crackle is made into a bowl, and then it was filled with a cheesecake mixture, which is quite expensive. Cheesecake is made from cream cheese, sugar and eggs, and usually some gelatine to set it. But it wasn't that exciting, and for school purposes I thought we don't need to be making cheesecake, it's too dear, it's not that good anyway. We'll still take the idea or the concept of the bowls and we'll fill them with marshmallows and miniature Easter eggs of all different sorts. So use this as an idea and you make it your own. So that's what we're aiming at there. And the recipe and the instructions were there, but you didn't need that. I've just taken out the recipe for the actual bowls, not the cheesecake. But there's the picture, so you'll see what it is we're trying to do. Alright, so I have in a bowl, if my children were still young, they would think it was Christmas, not Easter, to have their mother buy Cocoa Pops, because I would never buy them. They were too high in sugar, I thought. Anyway, the recipe says that you need 2.5 cups of Cocoa Pops, but you can do it with rice bubbles if you don't have Cocoa Pops. Half a cup of desiccated coconut. Desiccated means dried out. So half a cup of coconut as well. This is a 1/4 cup, so I'll just fill that twice, and that gives me a 1/2 cup of coconut. Now we're using coconut in 2 different forms for this recipe. Coconut is very high in fat, and we're going to use coconut fat to make this all stick together. Some of you may or may not have seen jars like this of virgin coconut oil. It has a really lovely smell, and we need 1/2 cup of coconut oil. It's been 1/3 cup. It's been melted in the microwave. It has a lovely flavour, and that's where the moisture is going to come from to stick all of this together. I've also added some cocoa powder. If you are using ordinary Rice Krispies, you might need to add a bit more cocoa powder to make this darker. It also has 2 tablespoons of icing sugar in it as well. It probably doesn't really need that. This is my second attempt at making them. I have some already to work with to continue the lesson with you, but those ones I didn't sieve the icing sugar, and it was a bit lumpy and it appeared a bit white and speckled in the bowl. So as we all do, I learned something and decided to sieve the icing sugar the next time. Now this cocoa fat, there's a jar that's not been opened, it's expensive. So if you haven't got it, you can use Kofa. Now I particularly dislike Kofa, I don't like it at all, but it will do the job. If you don't have Kofa, you could add melted chocolate into the Rice Krispies and just keep stirring it until it looks as if everything is coated either in the cocoa fat or the cofa or the chocolate to make it all damp enough to actually stick together. So there you are. They're just like good chocolate crackles. That's been made there. And these are the ones that I have made and set already in the fridge. Oops, there's a piece come off already. So these were made a couple of hours ago and set in the fridge. And don't they look nice? So I've made them in all different sized bowls so that I've got a selection of sizes. And I thought there's quite a lot you could do with these. If you know how to make truffles, really good ones with chocolate and cream and egg yolks, or you can do the ones that are made with crushed biscuits and condensed milk. You could put handmade truffles into these, but what I've got to make it colourful and attractive, see all the different sizes. Be careful that you don't make the bottom a bit thin. This one I thought was really cute. I did it in a little cup and saucer. Very nostalgic cup and saucer. This cup and saucer with the pansies on it used to belong to my grandmother, and I have had it for a long time, and my brother had it before that. So when I was a little girl, we used to be allowed to drink cups of tea, and we chose our favourite cups from my grandmother's cabinet. So this is quite nostalgic. And so is this one. I'm going to use this as a mould when I'm working with you just now. This is part of a tea set that my mother gave me when I got engaged to my husband in 1978. Isn't that a long time ago? There we are. So we've got all those ready to go, but to show you how to use this, I'm going to give you an idea. And I've got a friend who's actually waiting for a gift of these next Tuesday after school. After I've been across at the school, she wants me to drop off some of these samples, she said. So I'll need to do some baking or something for her as well, but I thought she might enjoy these. So a piece of Glad wrap into the bowl, and that's the secret. You won't get them out of the bowl unless you line them with Glad wrap. So I'm going to do this cup as well. And take much more of it than you think you'll need, because it gives you something to pull up on the edges and an easier way to actually get the little bowls out of the containers. So there we are, push it right down. You don't need to grease it or anything, just put it in. And then I also thought perhaps these coffee cups might make a nice bowl shape as well. You could, of course, if you wanted, make them smaller and just put them into muffin cases. If you were making them perhaps for younger children or a lot of people, you could use this mixture to line muffin cases. And make sure it's gone right down to the bottom, because I want that nice round shape when it's turned out. There we are, and keep your extra all hanging over the edge, because that will help you. Right, I'm not going to do a whole lot of them, just enough to give you the idea. Right. Oops. So there's the mixture, and we're going to fill these by pressing the mixture out with the back of a spoon, and you have to press it. So put a fair amount, this bowl's the bigger one, of course, a fair amount to start with, and then with the back of a spoon, spread it down on the bottom, and then just flatten it out up the sides. Now I can see I haven't got enough mixture there because the bowl is going to be too shallow, so I need to add more to make it a bit deeper, have deeper walls up the sides. Taking the back of the spoon and turning the bowl as you go. So this will set as the coconut fat solidifies again, just like melted butter solidifies again, and that's what makes this set. If you don't have that fat and you've used chocolate, it will be the chocolate that will set and hold it together. There we are. And make sure it's not too thin on the bottom, because I want it to hold and this side is not quite deep enough, so I'll put another bit in there and swipe it round, just gently flattening it out like that. If you want to be really fussy and fill it right to the top, to the edge, you can. Just make sure your edges are not too thick, but they're thick enough that they won't just break when you pull it out of the bowl. So there you are. That should give you an idea, and then that goes, that goes into the fridge until it's set. So I'll put that all off to one side. You get the idea. As long as you've lined everything with Glad wrap, you should be able to get it out. Now, I remembered in the break that I've got this lovely Easter tablecloth, and I will set up some better what would I say, arrangements for photographs later on, and I'll add some nice photographs to this where it's properly styled. But at the moment I thought, isn't that lovely? This came from America, from my mum, this lovely rabbit Easter tablecloth. So I'm going to lift these onto here, or some of them onto here, put the bigger one in the middle, the smaller ones on the outside, and then we'll fill them with goodies. And this makes something really nice for Easter. All that can come away. I'll come back and do those ones later. Alright, just wipe the bench again. The hot cross buns are coming up now. It is slow today. Right, let's just work on this nice cloth. It gives you a nice background. There we go. Alright, I think that one might need to be balanced in the middle. So now's the fun part. I've got some lovely colourful things here. So some marshmallows, mixture of pink and white. We don't have to have those, but if you like them, they're quite a cheap filler. It saves you having to have quite so many Easter eggs. I'm going to put the smaller ones on the top and the bigger ones underneath. These ones are caramel filled ones. Yum! These ones are crunchy ones. And these ones I think are solid chocolate. These ones are miniature cream eggs. These used to be my favourite until a friend told me how many kilojoules are in them, and it's something horrendous. It's about half your day's allowance of eating in a full-size cream egg. But hey, Easter Sunday's not every day, is it? There we are. And this one. So we'll fill them up with different types of eggs, different colours and things, and then just for the final gilding of the lily, I'm going to pipe a little bit of chocolate over them. So be really generous. Don't have them counted or anything like that. Put them, make them really well filled. Doesn't that look like fun? And I really particularly like these ones. I would have called these speckled eggs, because they really do look like little eggs from a small bird's nest. They're really attractive, I think. We can put some of those in. So the smaller ones go in last, and they'll fill in some of the gaps. So another thing that you could do with these is you could fill them with ice cream instead of chocolate if you wanted, and this could be your dessert for Easter Sunday or an Easter gathering. Not that we can have many gatherings at the moment, but if you're lucky enough to have a big family that are all under one roof, then you can. There you are. So, and we'll just put a few around the bottom to make it look nice. I'm going to have to hide these. My husband will be straight into these, but I've already promised them to a friend. I hadn't told him that. Right, I've got melted chocolate here for the piping, and it has solidified a little bit, so I'm just going to put this back into the microwave for a few seconds so that I can pipe this. Right, and I've already shown you how to make a piping bag, and I've got another one here. See if that's going to work now. Yes, I think so. When you melt chocolate in a microwave, you need to be really quite careful. It's very easy to burn it and ruin it. And this is a mixture of milk, dark and white chocolate chips, chocolate chips. So that melted fairly quickly. This time, not sure what size to make the hole in the bag, but start with it small. You can always cut another bit off if you want to. So into the piping bag, drop the chocolate from the top, and let's hope that it doesn't block up holes at the bottom with any little lumps. So you might, in your evaluation sheet, it would be really good if you give some alternative uses for this recipe. Just like we have with everything we've done lately, I've asked you to evaluate it, and because of the situation with shopping in supermarkets and availability, we've had to substitute a lot of ingredients. So maybe you can give me some suggestions as to how you think you might make this, and what would you put in them. So I did suggest perhaps you could fill the little cups with ice cream. You could serve them with berries as well. And there we are. Now we just do a bit of like that all over it. Just makes it look a bit special, doesn't it? Same thing as before, pressing with your thumb from the top of the bag. You could actually do this with chocolate ganache if you wanted. That's like a lovely thick glossy sauce that's made with chocolate and cream. But there we are. I think that looks pretty special. I wouldn't mind someone bringing that to me as a present. So there we are. When I've got some other ones ready, we can set them up down here, and maybe I'll do a bit more photography later. But I hope that you enjoy making those, and I'm quite sure some people will enjoy eating them. Happy Easter. Remain happy and healthy, and look after each other, and wash your hands. Take care. Have a good holiday. Bye.